Hello, welcome. I have a very exciting video for you today because I have a new pattern that came out a couple of weeks ago that I finally had time to sit down and record an introduction of. I am of course talking about the Norma Jean Turtleneck. Before I forget, my name is Helena and I am the creator, so the designer, hand dyer and curator of Fabel Knitwear. So, as I prematurely said, the Norma Jean Turtleneck, it is my newest pattern. It is the first pattern I have published in 2021. I'm so excited to see you guys have started knitting it up as well. Remember to tag me so I can see. Let's dive into the pattern thoroughly. The Norma Jean Turtleneck is, as the name might have told you already, if you are a bit of a vintage history nerd, Norma Jean is Marilyn Monroe's birth name, Norma Jean Baker. A bit more, and I mean this in the best possible way, but it's a bit less glamorous than Marilyn Monroe, which is of course why she chose to not go by her birth name. Norma Jean is a really lovely, cozy name. I think it is anyway. And so when naming it, I did so because this is a really nice, cozy, simple DK weight jumper pattern. But it is inspired by the turtlenecks of that were very popular from the 1940s to the 1960s. Most particularly just that mid-century sort of look that we associate so much with stars like Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn. Those really classic, simple styles and silhouettes. No fuss, and that's exactly what the Norma Jean is inspired by and why it's also called Norma Jean. It is a turtleneck. I have it folded down because it's not cold out at the moment, but it does have a full turtleneck. It's knit in a 2x2 rib and the pattern is knit top down and it is seamless. So it has this ribbed turtleneck that you can of course fold down, such as I have just done, and then it is knit downwards. It has the shoulder construction where you increase 4 lovely tailored seams across the shoulder, and then the pattern has instructions for how to adjust this, because if you've knit my heirloom jumper, or if you've seen the video for my heirloom jumper, then you will know that is the first pattern I did with this shoulder technique. As I said in that one, when I was working on it, I had looked, I couldn't find anyone who had done it like that before. Of course people had, and I was just not in the game. So I was sure I had like invented a brand new method of doing something, because I did figure it out on my own, and then of course realised that was not the case. People have done this before, and from what I can gather, the first person who did it is this person, and she has called it the contiguous, I think, method. So all credits to her. She's the first one who did it that I can find any info on. I thought I had invented something brilliant. Turned out I hadn't. Still doesn't take away from the incredible practicality of this shoulder increase, because it gives you the look of a set-in shoulder or a set-in sleeve without having to either pick up round and then knit out or sew it in. So it's basically a raglan, but it's just done a bit differently so that you get this lovely straight tailored seam that gives you such a nice custom fitted look if you do it correctly, because this is important. When doing this, you have to follow the instructions for how to tailor this to yourself, or if you're knitting for someone else, you need their measurements, because it's important that this seam ends up right at the armpit in a straight line up. If it ends up too far out, it's gonna look really bad. It's gonna have a bad fit, and so that's really important. I couldn't really find any like very basic info on shoulder width, because it varies so much as well from nationality to nationality. I am Norwegian, I'm a size small, but I have quite wide shoulders, and so my size small doesn't have the average shoulder width of an Italian size small, or someone from Singapore, or someone from America. So our shoulder width doesn't really, like, you can be a size 0 or a size 16 and your shoulder width could be the same for both those sizes. That's just like where your bones are. And so this custom way of knitting your shoulder width gives you the opportunity to create a garment that really fits your frame regardless of your size. And so that's what I really love about this technique. I really love it. But it is important that you then knit following those instructions for how to custom make it, and then how to later adjust it so it's the right stitch count for your size. But it is really so simple. It's just a matter of adding stitches later or taking away if you have wider shoulders than the pattern suggests. All that to say, this pattern also uses this method of custom tailoring, custom knitting your own shoulder width. After you have done all this, the sleeves have a very tiny little puff here. I wouldn't even go so far as to call it a puff, because it isn't really. It just creates these really lovely little gathers, as if you had a sewn-in sleeve and you had just sort of gathered made pleats of the excess fabric to create this little volume at the shoulder. But it's not a full puff sleeve, it just lifts it up a tiny bit. Let me come closer to you. Here you have it. So here you can see the little gathers at the top of the shoulder, and here you have the seam running out and the seam going straight down. After that, the sleeve is knit fitted and ends in a 2x2 rib. Again, I have just pulled these up because it's quite warm and it is a DK weight pattern, but you can wear it. This is how it's intended to be worn. I do have a habit of pulling up my sleeves regardless of the season, to be honest. The body is also fitted and cropped. Of course, being knit top down, it's super easy to adjust the length, and you could just keep knitting until you reach the length that you want. Should you, however, want it to be really long and go over your hips, you will need to add some increases again, because this does decrease as it reaches your waist for that form-fitting look. I have knit my Norma Jean Turtleneck in Fabel Knitwear Gayless Tweed, which is my DK weight merino and Donegal Nep tweed base, and it has, I'm sure you saw when I was up close, these speckles and flecks of Donegal Nep that gives it this lovely retro classic vibe. And I love a good tweed for that purpose, because, well, this would be gorgeous in any yarn, to be honest. I'm gonna knit one that's not in tweed next time, just because I think it's gonna give it such a different look. But with the tweed look, it instantly gives it that classic vintage vibe. And for a pattern that's as simple as the Norma Jean, perfect. Also, if you have a really lovely speckled yarn or a variegated yarn, this is another pattern that's going to be great for that, because it's going to let the colourway really shine. The pattern is available on Etsy and on Ravelry, of course. On Etsy it's under Fabel Vintage, and on Ravelry, Fabel Knitwear. It ranges up to a 3XL. It is a negative to no ease knitting pattern, which means there's nothing extra, there's no excess fabric to give you a nice flowy look. This is fitted, but it is not tight. The pattern is, as always, available in Norwegian and English. Both languages are included in the PDF. And apart from that, is there anything I want to say about this? I don't think so. As for other versions I want to knit with this, oh, there are so many. I have to knit something in Kakeman very soon, which is one of my 2019 advent calendar colourways, which is cream speckled in red and green, and I think something like this would really let that shine. I also think a black one, a black gayless tweed, so you still get those lovely flecks of tweed, would be so stunning and elegant. Basically you can't go wrong with it, whichever colour you go for. You really can't. I am of course always drawn to the colours I wear for the most part. I usually wear and knit stuff in burgundy, in pale blush pinks, creams, brown, that sort of palette. But there are so many other colours that make me so happy and I love knitting with, and I love seeing what you knit them with. So free reins, I think everything, because the pattern is so simple and it would let any yarn, as I said, shine on its own, whether that's a tonal, a speckled one, a variegated one, or a, what's it called? Industrial? No. Commercial. Dyed yarn. Everything. Chef's kiss to all of them. Without further ado, let's have a look at some styling options. That's it. Remember to tag me and to use the hashtag Norma Jean Turtleneck if and when you post pictures of your knitwear, because I love seeing what you do, the colours you choose, how you style it, how it fits on you. It just always makes my day when you share your Fabel knitwear knits so I can see them. That's it. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. Drop me a message below or send me an email. Remember to follow me on Instagram, Fabel Knitwear, and I will see you next time. Happy knitting!